So, did you ever think you would live long enough to see Donald Trump become Trump Headroom? Yeah, neither did I, but I suppose considering what we know now about the multiverse, it was bound to happen in at least one of them, and ding 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 ding, winner winner chicken dinner, congratulations, you are one of them. Anyway, this is my hashtags minds giveaway video, and I want to give a special thank you to Dave Cullen for giving me a actual deadline to meet, because I think otherwise I might have never actually gotten around to making these videos. I probably would have ended up just sticking to my little funny songs and edits. So thanks, Dave, because when I originally downloaded this FaceRig software, it was my intention to make these series of videos that I'm launching with this one. I'm basing them off of the TED Talks in a totally Kekistani fashion, just appropriating that and making Trump X Talks. So here we go. The topic is supposed to be censorship on other platforms. And quite frankly, I've not spoken on any social media platform until after I downloaded this software at Christmas. So there we go. There's a reason for that. I've been aware of at least the capability, and I've kind of assumed the capability of Vault 7 type software since 1998. So I guess you could say I've been Edward Snowden level paranoid, uh, while Edward Snowden was trying to figure out which was what. So we're supposed to be talking about censorship on other platforms, and I haven't really experienced any. But I would like to talk about, if I may, the censorship on the platform we call IRL, in real life, because there's plenty enough of it out there. Due to people's cognitive dissonance, unwillingness to listen, learn, think critically, so on and so forth. So social controls are kind of built in, that kind of make you self-censor and everything. And it's only in this ever-increasing age of political incorrectness that we're actually getting outside those boxes that everybody wants to put us in. So, so I've got a lot of things I want to talk about. Number one, I want to give a second big shout out thank you to Kathy Griffin. If it weren't for you, I don't think I would have also had the, temerity to call out everything. I'm calling out hashtag fake gov. I'm calling out hashtag fake justice and their hashtag black robed baby killers. I'm calling out their lackeys, the lawyers. Hashtag don't kill all lawyers. We might need them later on. I'm calling out the Pope. Yes, he's calling out the Pope. Because by the time I get done explaining things to you, you're going to see exactly how these lawyers are registered foreign agents of the Vatican, and how your income taxes end up in the Pope's pocket, whether you're Catholic or not. So yeah, thanks, lady. I appreciate it. You don't know how much I appreciate you giving me the anger and the angst to get up here and just tell it like it T.I. is. Tell people the truth as I see it and have learned it personally through firsthand experience. So thanks. Thanks a lot. Furthermore, you've become the poster child of something really rather radical that I'm throwing out there into the multiverse. So thanks. Thanks a lot, lady.
Adolf Hitler is still alive. I slept with her last night. Come out from behind that false mustache, Adolf. I know you're in there.
Oh, and by the way, dear black people, did you know that slavery is still legal in America? That's right. It's still legal because of that hashtag fake gov 13th Amendment that they've shoved off on everybody and anybody that they can. Let's take a look, shall we? Neither slavery nor involuntary servitude, except as a punishment for crime, shall exist within the United States or any place subject to their jurisdiction. That's right, slavery is still legal, folks. You think that might explain the piss poor conditions of your communities? Do you think that might explain something about the shitty education system that everybody's forced into? Do you think that might, just might, have something to do with the incarceration rates in this country? Hey, guess what? They don't even care what color you are, man. If you're dumb enough to commit a crime, we'll make a slave out of you, baby. That's why I've created this DRC party. We've got to restore a constitutional republic for the United States under common law. English common law, 800 years worth of case law and decisions that goes all the way back to Magna Carta. Okay, I know that a ton of that stuff's been quote unquote overturned, but we've got to go back to it if we're going to save this planet and have anything like reasonable government that's not based on slavery. You can't really talk about censorship nowadays, I guess, without addressing the adpocalypse. So, yeah, if you think that this is just some random convergence of circumstances, or if you think that a couple of three guys at the New York Times actually caused advertisers to pull $750 million out of YouTube, I've got a great piece of oceanfront property for you over by DeFango's house that I'll sell you, okay? But no, this is an act of war. It's intended to shut down free speech, not just in America, but around the world. So, yeah, there's only one thing you can do in the face of such adversity like that, pun intended. That would be to make fun of it. Appropriate it, make fun of it, and just kick the heck out of it, right? So with that, no further ado, I guess we'll be right back after these words from our fake sponsors.
The Brady Bunch Hour, brought to you by Oscar Mayer and Company.
My baloney has a first name, it's O-S-C-A-R. My baloney has a second name, it's M-A-Y-E-R. Oh, I love to eat it every day, and if you ask me why, I'll say, 'cause Oscar Mayer has a way with B-O-L-O-G-N-A.
Oscar Mayer, the first name in Bologna.
How's that?
Now, here is a corn lover, and there's nothing more gratifying to a corn lover than to know that her mother has given her delicious Del Monte family-style corn. More people eat it than any other corn like it. This is a special strain developed to be sweet and tender. And when a corn lover is eating Del Monte corn, she probably doesn't need to hear me talking about how good it is, right? Well, then I'm just going to go into the living room and talk about corn to the sofa.
Nothing's too good for Daddy and me. Mom brings Del Monte home.
Sometimes you feel like a nut, sometimes you don't. Almond Joy's got nuts, Mounds don't. Almond Joy's got real milk chocolate, coconut and munchy nuts too. Mounds got deep dark chocolate and chewy coconut. Ooh. Sometimes you feel like a nut, sometimes you don't. Peter Paul, Almond Joy's got nuts, Peter Paul, Mounds don't. Because sometimes you feel like a nut, sometimes you don't.
Danny, sounds like you've accidentally invented a thermochemical energy source.
A scientific wonder becomes a nightmare.
Someone's walking around with enough explosive to turn the city into a pancake.
A power that could mark the beginning of the end for the $6 million man.
What you're about to see is the world's most revolutionary telephone switching invention. We call it Super Switcher. It has almost no moving parts, yet handles 4 times more calls than its predecessor. It required an investment of $400 million, but should ultimately save $1 billion a year. And soon, every major American area will have one. Looks dull, eh?
Well, imagine that each of these cars is a long-distance call. This new invention can handle over 500,000 an hour. That's 5 days' traffic on a busy Los Angeles freeway. Super Switcher. It should go a long distance to prevent traffic jams on your long-distance calls.
The Bell System. People using technology to help keep down costs and improve service. Keeping your phone system the best in the world.
A bunch of kids looking for action. So what's doing out on the street? Is this the way we ought to use our boy power? Think about it. America's manpower begins with boy power. Let's not waste it. Be a volunteer worker with the Boy Scouts.
This is Alice. Stay tuned for the second half of the Brady Bunch Hour. If you're watching backwards, stay tuned for the first half.
And we're back. So in this segment, I'd like to go ahead and just introduce you to the website for the Democratic Republican Party. Okay, so here we have the Democratic Republican Convention website. It's the DRC party, so I'm officially would call it the Democratic Republican Convention because I'm hoping that it will lead to a convention of the states. And right now it is just a basic bare bones website that I've created with Wix. If you haven't used that service before, it's a very, very good. If you can use Photoshop, you can use Wix to build a website type thing. You really don't even have to know how to code or anything. And so it's just really what you see is what you get type website building. And that's become a lot more common nowadays, but they were one of the first ones, and they'll host it for free. So that's why I chose them. And as you can scroll down here, I've got kind of a pissed off looking eagle there. And on the front page, I've got, now this is a template, and a lot of this is just going to change, but for right now, I had to, kind of put this together within the deadline. So you can see over here, I've got folks that we like. The John B. Wells program and Caravan to Midnight. Shout out John B. Next News Network and Gary Franchi, good source for news and political commentary. And of course, Minds, VidMe, and yeah, the party is KECUG friendly. The mission statement is goes to a mission statement page, and I'll go to that in a minute. We've got the DRC's message. Now this is a cute little video. I intend to replace it maybe with this Trump X Talk video, but for right now I'm thinking I may need to make like a complete separate video embedded links page for this website. But for right now, this is a really cute video that's been up for like 6 years, and it does a really excellent job of explaining the Federal Reserve and the history of the Red Shields, Rothschilds, and the banking system, and it touches on some of the founding principles of the DRC party, and that's why I put it in there as kind of a placeholder for now. And these links down here, the Minds link does go to the group on Minds. Right now I've got this going to my TrumpX Twitter and YouTube pages, but I'm going to switch that around if we end up getting, I may go ahead and have to build a separate account for that party there, make a separate email address and everything. Right now everything just directs to my TrumpX Talks email address so that we can, well, have a talk about it. I'll talk to anybody. This subscribe for updates also directs to my email address there, and I'm going to be very fastidious about checking my emails and talking to people, because I like to talk to people in every state so that you get a state party in every state, and that's the only way you're really going to get traction for a state convention. Here I've got a history of the Democratic Republican Party. Its history is really incredible. You can see here, I just went ahead and used Wikipedia here, and it says the Democratic Republican Party was an American political party formed by Thomas Jefferson and James Madison in 1791 to 93 to oppose the centralizing policies of the new Federalist Party run by Alexander Hamilton. Now, I think one of the things that I hope to highlight here is the very beginning parts of how this country was founded and the arguments between the different people who founded it. There was a very, very strong divide between Hamilton and Jefferson. A lot of people may not know that. And it came down to whether or not, basically, corruption should be built right into the American political system from the very beginning. Hamilton proposed this point of view because he said that it would not function with the corrupt monarchies of Europe politically if there weren't some kind of corruption built into the system, which, what do you know, I guess his favorite form was a central bank. Boom. And Jefferson opposed it strongly. When you go back and you read the writings of Jefferson and stuff, you'll see that he talked about it there, where he said that at this dinner party, insert dinner party here, he was not only astonished to find out what had happened while he had been abroad, but his position on it, as stated at the dinner in his writings, was that he would rather have a pure republic form of government with no corruption that held to fastidious standards of law, and instead, and that, basically the rest of them could suck it, they could deal with it. But anyway, getting back to this website, if you've been reading this while I've been talking, good for you. I'm not going to go ahead and go all the way through it. I'm just going to kind of scroll down here. You'll see I've took selected parts from the Wikipedia of organizational strategy and their positions on national debt, which is, Jefferson and Albert Gallatin focused on the danger that the public debt, unless it was paid off, would be a threat to Republican values. They were appalled that Hamilton was increasing the national debt and using it to solidify his Federalist base. Gallatin was the Republican Party's chief expert on fiscal issues, and as Treasury Secretary under Jefferson and Madison, worked hard to lower taxes and lower the debt, while at the same time paying cash for the Louisiana Purchase and funding the War of 1812. Burroughs says of Gallatin, his own fears of personal dependency and his small shopkeeper's sense of integrity, both reinforced by a strain of radical Republican thought that originated in England a century earlier, convinced him that public debts were a nursery of multiple public evils: corruption, legislative impotence, executive tyranny, social inequality, financial speculation, and personal indolence. Any of that sound familiar? Not only was it necessary to extinguish the existing debt as rapidly as possible, he argued, but Congress would have to ensure against the accumulation of future debts by more diligently supervising government expenditures. And here we've been being told all our lives on the fake stream media about the kicking down the can of Congress, kicking the can down the road. Fear of a large debt is a major legacy of the party. Andrew Jackson believed the national debt was a national curse, and he took special pride in paying off the entire national debt in 1835. Politicians ever since have used the issue of a high national debt to to denounce the other party for profligacy and a threat to fiscal soundness and the nation's future. Okay, but at the bottom of that, it leads to a link, and you can see we can have the platform link here, which if we go straight to that, which is the next page, I put in a nice little picture gallery thing there, pictures rotating, but went down, put a quote from Jefferson. Rightful liberty is unobstructed action according to our will within limits drawn around us by the equal rights of others. I do not add within the limits of the law, because the law is often but the tyrant's will, and always so when it violates the rights of the individual. And then we go right into the platform. Now I'm going to hit these topics pretty quick. They're totally up for discussion, change, debate, reform, adding to, subtracting from. I don't care, as long as we're talking about these issues. Okay? I would like to see a convention of the states to nullify the Act of 1871, kick the corporate interests out of government completely. Now I know that the way the world has been constructed, and considering that the United Nations is all corporate nations and everything is corporate, I get that, okay? But when you analyze the Act of 1871, you find out, in a nutshell, they took the U.S. Treasury, transferred it to Puerto Rico, the Treasury of Puerto Rico, while they reorganized the constitutional republic for America into this United States of America Municipal Corporation, which then took the assets of the Treasury back and formed this kind of a three-tier trust system that everything else has operated from since. It's the foundation base of corporatism in America. So that's the first thing there. You can read it for yourself on the website. Judiciary reform is the second thing I put down there. Needless to say, from that initial platform initiative, this is a calling out of corporatism infecting government, and since each and every one of your registered for-profit courts are enforcing commercial transactions on we the people to feed the bankster Ponzi schemes around the world, Iceland excluded, this has got to change. This paper genocide through the use of the birth certificate, and you can enlarge that if you want to look at it, but it explains it. And in part, you'll see down here that I talk about lawyers and the judges, and that you can turn your bar cards and your titles of foreign nobility in for being a counselor at common law. You know, I mean, it worked pretty darn well for John Adams when he got those British troops off when everybody wanted to kill them, right? So I'm asking these guys to stop and think about it. That I specifically say hashtag don't kill all the lawyers, because they should be given the right and a chance to help correct this. And I wouldn't be surprised if some were not interested in what I'm talking about here. And as far as police departments are concerned, there's a lot of evidence out there that will be gone into later on in another Trump X talk that, you know, police departments are kind of technically unconstitutional. They're really corporate security guards, well-armed corporate security guards that feeds this type of corporate judiciary system that we have. So lawful law enforcement is sheriffs, and everybody should know that. And I certainly know Sheriff Clark would know that. Which, anyway, brings us to our next initiative, and you'll hear me talk about it all the time, and which is gold and silver money. Article 1, Section 10. They adopted it right straight over from the original. No state shall make anything but gold and silver coin a tender in payment of debts. And so you've still got gold and silver eagles that you can buy. Everybody likes them. But if you look real closely at these things, you'll notice that it says $50 on it for gold and $1 for silver. And you know why? It's 401ks, folks. See, that's still legal tender right there, both of them. And if you invest in a 401k that buys these, and you have to pull out early and pay the tax penalty, guess what? You're paying it on $50 legal tender and $1 legal tender here. And that's the rich man's trick right there. So moving forward, we may have to consider making platinum eagles. We might have to consider palladium eagles. I don't know. It just depends. Other initiatives are business by charter company. Obviously a heavy reform of the education system. I mean, once again, we go back to neither slavery nor involuntary servitude, except as a punishment for crime, wherever the party shall have been duly convicted, shall exist within the United States, or any place subject to their jurisdiction. The 13th Amendment to the United States Constitution. Gosh, it's horrible, and it's criminal. But the party, I think, should also support universal encryption. It's been called for by Edward Snowden. I know John McAfee is a big supporter of it. And matter of fact, I think they would be the two best minds to work on it for America, to be honest with you. Because, we support full amnesty for Edward Snowden. He's a hero. He's not a criminal, and they just need to deal with it. A couple of other topics here for open for discussion. I guess we also need to have a message here to the deep state, black ops people out there that are still Americans. You guys, I'm asking you to stop and consider this. I know there needs to be some secrets and whatnot, but if we're going to have this kind of government again, then it's an opportunity to bring forth the technologies, to bring forth the real change that drives the face of the planet. And if you guys, we're grown-ups here now, we're not going to run off into a panic. If there's an exopolitical situation going on our planet, hint hint Antarctica, we need to know about it, and that might be the unifying force. If you want to really have Earth be the gem of a federation of planets like Star Trek or something, we got to go forward right and not wrong, being enslaved. So there's that. And the United Nations, of course, if all the above is going to change, then the United Nations is going to have to either change or die. Get out. Get off American soil, because we're getting out. And those are some basic platform tenets to be, booted about. Got a quick get involved page. This was a hard one for me to do. I got this donation thing here. None of this works. I don't obviously care about the Federal Reserve notes. I know we're going to have to deal with this. My idea for this thing, ironically enough, is that Donald Trump has actually played right in the hands of the formation of a new political party, in the fact that 501c3 corporations no longer have to deal with the Johnson Amendment and are allowed to have a political opinion. So I believe this party needs to be formed as a non-profit organization with appropriate salaries paid out to people that work for it and whatnot, and would be a model for states to follow to have their parties. So yeah, things are changing all the time, but some of the ways you can help if you want with this is post about this on other social media platforms. I do not endorse Facebook. I think it's a CIA NSA honey trap, but if you're down there, post about this. Post a link for this website. Post a link to this video. Please, feel free. It would be a big help. Here's one thing I didn't do. I didn't add text to these two things. Become a volunteer. If you want to volunteer right now, probably the best thing you can do is just go ahead and give me an email, or do the sign up thing. Use the contact page. Use the contact down below here. Just go to this contact on this page. This is all this will evolve, but I got links for my Twitter, YouTube, and mine's right there. I was gonna try and put a vid me in there. I guess I'll have to put it in here or something. But there's me. That's this website. So I'm gonna click off this and be done with this part. It's been a real fun time making this video. I've put a lot of work into it, especially in the last 24 hours. I'm going to get done with this. I'm going to hit upload, and I'm going to go take a shower and go to bed and probably sleep like a rock for a while. But I want to thank once again, I want to thank Dave Cullen for putting up this Minds contest. I'd like to thank Mr. Bill Ottman for providing such a wonderful platform that's ideologically neutral and just, generally awesome. And I want to thank all of you for watching, and I hope to see you again on the next one. I'm going to leave you with a little outro here of a preview of what's coming up on the next Trump X Talk. Number 2 is going to be about the Mandela effect. So yeah, with that, I'm just going to go ahead and drop a new one on you. Here's the original Lord's Prayer.